Hey guys, it's time to work on the 424 again. Got a little new parts this week, and what I learned here is that this bracket is actually not the right bracket. This little bracket is. So if I mount that on there, it's going to take 2 or 3 inches out of the play, and then my belt's probably going to fit again. And if you remember last week, I had this problem with the starter generator holder, that there was a busted off bolt in it, and I was able to get this off a buddy of mine, and I threw some paint on it real quick last night, but this one's got good threads on both sides, and I'm going to try to mount everything up here and see what if we can get this bad boy to run today. Alright, so put in the right bracket on the top. My 35-inch belt fits perfect now. So all I got to do is put some bolts in there, and then it's on to play with this crazy wiring harness. Now here's what we're going to do next. This thing has this key in here, which is factory. That's like this stupid thing that's just an on-off. Then it has a push button for the starter, which I'm not into that setup at all. So what I'm going to do is, I got this nice brand new Updat key switch. So we're going to take out this old key. We'll leave the starter button here, it just won't be hooked up. And we're going to rewire this to a modern key. And so no wires that went from the starter generator to the voltage regulator. We're just going to take care of this whole setup all at once. And if you look under the dash here, there were all these random wires that are cut, and this, that, and the other thing, and it'll just be easier to redo the whole thing. I think it'll be a lot simpler. So that's where we're at. Let me show you guys what I found. See this on-off switch? It was on the shift plate. It's like a little toggle switch. So what the heck was that? Well, some idiot had this hooked up instead of the key switch. So there's wires that come from the solenoid here that hooked up to that toggle switch. Then I'm looking behind the dash here, and like here's a piece of wire that was sitting there's not hooked up to anything. This is the same color, that goes to nothing. All these wires up here that look like they're on the switch weren't hooked up to anything. So I don't know what this guy was doing, but I think we're just going to have to throw out every single wire that's in here and just rebuild them from scratch. So for now, I'm not going to play with the headlights or anything. I'm just going to do the starter and the charging system. And basically I need like 3 wires, one to go from the solenoid to the key switch, one to go from the starter generator to the voltage regulator, and one to go from the hot side of the solenoid to the power side of the key switch, just for the constant 12 volts. And I may need a little wire or two for the voltage regulator, but it shouldn't be that bad. Now, we're always going to crimp our joints, and I always solder them too, because the last thing I want is for a wire to wiggle out of one of these joints. So I got my soldering gun here, and I solder all these things up, and we're going to make sure we do this right the first time. Well, I'm pretty sure the solenoid's no good. So I'm going to unhook the wires, and I got hot coming in. The solenoid's grounded. I can get 12 volts from the hot to the screws that mount the solenoid, so I know there's ground there, but nothing's happening to the post that goes to the key. So there is a way you can test this on the bench, and basically I'm going to try that and see if you can hear it click, because there's a plunger in there. So I'm going to see if I can test it on a bench, but I'm 99.9% sure that this solenoid is what we call toast. Alright, I just scored this new solenoid at the auto parts store, $27.78. It's made by Grote. It's got 2 terminals on the top, but it doesn't matter, we only got to use one. Alright, we'll throw it in and see what happens. Alright guys, we're going to do some redneck solenoid testing. So this is the old solenoid, got it in the bench. I got a ground hooked up to it for my little battery charger. I'm going to plug in my battery charger, and what you got to do here is put the hot wire on the hot side, then you make a little jumper wire that goes from there and you touch it to the post, and if you got nothing like I do, then the thing's busted. And I already knew it's busted because it won't work in the tractor, but this will just confirm that. And unplug the charger. Now here's another old rusty solenoid that I know is good, and watch this. Hear it? That one works, so let's see. We'll try my new one, see if we can get my new one to work. Now this new solenoid is a 4-post, and I tried hooking it up regular way, just like a 3-post, and leaving one post empty, and I get nothing. And some guys online just told me that I probably need to send the 4th post to ground, so I just ran a wire. Happens to be red, it's the only wire I have here, but from this post down to the base where the ground is, and I'm going to see what happens if I do that. We got the same exact setup here. Let's see. Dude, it works. That's awesome. Okay, I guess my new flashy looking solenoid is ready to go. Thank you guys online. Now I should have no excuse to finish my tractor here. This is great. Thanks.